Hi guys, I'm Nina.
I'm Ethan.
I'm Jamie.
And we are Bloody Essentials. Quick thank you to all of our listeners for supporting the show. It really means a lot. Please continue to support the podcast by following us, leaving a review. Little things like that can really help the podcast out so much.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to our Patreon members, Rick and Swift. Guys, thank you. Yes. Thank you guys so much for contributing to the show. And, just going above and beyond to show your love for the Bloody Essentials crew. We really appreciate it. But more importantly, we appreciate your friendship.
You guys are awesome.
Yeah. And if you haven't checked out Rick's podcast, definitely do that. Whole Bloody Enchilada.
It's the whole damn enchilada, but that's okay.
We just in our hearts, it's always going to be Bloody Enchilada. Yes.
When we collab, we are the whole Bloody Enchilada.
You complete us. We complete you.
We are one and the same.
We're one happy and bloody enchilada.
That's right.
I'm just trying to add bloody to them. That's fine. They are live on Facebook and YouTube every Thursday. So at 7 p.m. Central Time, I believe. Yeah. Or 6. Yeah. It's 6.
6.
Okay. Yes. But definitely check them out. They are amazing guys, Rick and Ryan.
They are.
And their show is great.
Oh, I love their show. Yeah. If you want to hear your name in our episodes as well and receive fun little goodies from the entire Bloody Essentials team, you can join our Patreon. It's no commitment. You can donate as little or as much as you like. And you receive awesome perks from all of us, whether it's horror goodies, merch, unedited episodes. So always a good time with that.
Those are fun.
Those are
fun. Yeah.
Wonder what we could get into in unedited episodes, huh?
Oh, yeah. Recently, quite a bit. Yeah. So definitely check that out if you're interested. It's a very good time, and we've got more exclusive perks coming very soon. So keep an eye out.
And guys, the whole gang is back together today.
That's right.
That's right. We're all back together.
Finally.
United, and it feels so good.
Okay, Peaches and Herb.
The goats are back in town.
Yes. I even have my little goat here with me.
Aww.
No.
I love it. Mine's in the other room, but
my goat's looking at me.
Oh, mine's in the other room because it has to stay out of sight of the cats because otherwise they attack it.
That makes sense. Yeah.
We do have some upcoming appearances. We will be. This episode's airing the day that this is happening. So if you're listening and you're in Chicago, meet us at the Logan Theater, February 26th. That is apparently today, the day you're listening, at 7 to 9 p.m. They're having a horror meetup for local Chicagoans. So come out. There will be local filmmakers, local horror businesses. It's going to be a really good time. And then stick around because at 9 p.m. they are showing the 100th anniversary showing of The Phantom of the Opera with Lon Chaney.
Yes.
Oh, gosh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time.
Definitely.
So definitely stick around for that. We will also be at Milwaukee HorrorCon March 14th through the 16th. That's their very first year as a HorrorCon out there. So definitely check them out, support them. It's ran by the same people that do Chicago Horror Film Festival. So it's definitely going to be a great time. Those guys are awesome. Let's support them as much as possible. I can't believe that the horror community didn't have a Milwaukee HorrorCon before.
Right.
Right. Well, it's
long
never too
overdue.
late. Yeah.
Yeah. And those smaller cons, like their first few years, are really cool because they're much more intimate. You can chat with your celebrity guests more like regularly and stuff because there's not as long of a line. So yeah.
And you'll get to see us. There's always that.
I mean
there's
awesome.
never a line for us, but you get to see us. So
that's not true. There's occasionally a line that follows us.
Yes.
especially when Stitch is involved, right?
That's true. We have quite a following when Stitch comes out. So
yeah.
They don't care anything about us. They want to see Stitch. So.
He's an honorary member of the
yes.
team. Yeah.
An important part of the team.
Speaking of the Chicago Horror Film Fest, we're also going to be there May 15th through the 18th.
Yes, we will. It's going to be a good time.
Yes.
And that is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 4-day event. And it's local Chicago film artists. Like, come on. It's going to be a great time.
Amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. And then, of course, we will be at Days of the Dead Indy in June. That's June 13th through the 15th because that is Ethan's birthday bash. You can't miss that.
Woo-woo.
Exactly.
And that's where I met Ethan for the first time. So
that is true.
Actually, did we first meet at Indy too?
I think we did.
I'm pretty sure we met at a Days of the Dead Indy for the first time ever too. So
yes, ma'am.
Hey, Indy, man.
Thank you, Indy. You did this. So
it's extra special.
It is.
Yeah. And the diner there. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. Yes.
That's right. I'm still not walking there.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Still not walking. So
no, you don't want to walk back. So no.
Yeah.
You're gonna be full after that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so tonight we were initially going to cover a specific movie, but then we watched the movie.
And we had a little bit of a change of heart.
We did.
We just thought, maybe we could mix it up a little bit actually, now that we've seen it.
Yeah, so it's going to sound bad, but basically the movie that we selected is an art house type film. So the story isn't exactly linear. So that would make it very difficult for us to try to do plot points. And although I'm sure some people enjoy watching us struggle through the plot points, like in Phantasm, we think it would be better for everybody listening if we talk about some of our other favorite movies in this genre. So basically tonight's episode is in honor of Black History Month and also just Blaxploitation films and just, Black representation in horror overall, right? Yes. So that is the focus of this episode. We are going to briefly talk about Ganja and Hess from 1973. If you have not heard of this movie stars Dwayne Jones from Night of the Living Dead. And big representation there. This is the only other movie I've seen him in. I don't know about you guys. Did he do anything else?
So I looked it up because sadly we sadly didn't have him very long. He passed away at like 51 years old, so we didn't get him in this world very long, sadly. I always thought he was so handsome and such a talented actor. But I read that in total he did about 9 movies. But his only 2 leading roles were Night of the Living Dead and Ganja and Hess.
That's such a shame.
He actually became like a professor himself.
I did know that, yeah.
Yeah, so his character that he plays in Ganja and Hess actually has some similarities to him as a person in real life.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Before we get into like talking about what we thought of the movie, are you guys up for some fun facts?
Yes.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So I'm just going to go over the summary of the film really quick since we're not actually going to do plot points. But basically the film is about this doctor's assistant who he's stabbed with an ancient germ-infested knife. And after he's stabbed, he finds himself with an insatiable desire for blood. So he's essentially a vampire, but they never actually say vampire.
Yeah, and it's not your classic, like big fangs and that kind of thing. It's definitely a different kind of vampire.
Yeah, very much so. Very gritty while also being very artistic in nature. But it's worth a watch, I think. right.
interesting.
So, the film was released theatrically several times by different distributors and under different titles. It was initially released as Ganja and Hess by Kelly Jordan Enterprises in 1973. However, it failed at the box office and was then picked up by Heritage Enterprises. Heritage re-edited the film and released it under the title Blood Couple later that same year. This version included 15 minutes of footage not used in the original release print, despite being 33 minutes shorter overall, and was marketed as a blaxploitation film. This same cut was released to theaters by Goldstone Films as Double Possession in 1975. And basically, from what I read, people wanted the extra footage from Blood Couple because they thought it would make the film make more sense, like from a linear perspective. However, no one in the cast or the crew wanted that to happen because they just hated that cut of the film so much, so it is not available anywhere.
Oh.
Wow,
Yeah.
interesting.
Spike Lee apparently remade this film as The Sweet Blood of Jesus in 2014, so maybe watch that and see if it makes more sense. I'm not
I've
trying
never
to be
seen that.
disrespectful, but
No, it is
Yeah.
what it is.
yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's very abstract. It's very abstract. So if you've
Yeah.
seen it or you haven't seen it, it's just a very abstract movie. So it does not have a linear plot. It's not really, it's
No.
more like, it's more just kind of like snaps of these people. And then
just
a lot of
stuff
imagery.
happening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lots of imagery, and I think that you would have to study a lot of history in order to get this, and it's not just like one particular era of history, it's like the entire history of the African American, like just African people. And unfortunately, we are not able to squeeze that in a week's time. Sorry. But we wanted to recognize the importance of this film because it is very important. Marlene Clark, who is the female lead of the film, she said she loved working with Bill Gunn, the director and writer, because he was very imaginative, creative, and totally committed to the material. Ganja and Hess was his dream, his vision, and there wasn't a thing he wouldn't do to make it work. And in the process, he brought people together while making the film. She said that film crews had been traditionally all white, yet here was a crew that was just totally mixed, and their devotion to Bill and to what he was trying to say was really quite impressive. And in 2024, it was selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry by the Library of Congress as being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. So, and it's gained quite a cult following over the years, I think, right, Jamie?
Yeah, and this movie seems to kind of go through phases where like there's renewed interest in it every once in a while. That's just kind of what I read when I was researching about it. Again, it doesn't sound like it did great when it first came out, but later critics and film watchers like really enjoyed it and kind of saw its artistic value that maybe people didn't see when it first came out.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So do you want to talk a little bit about the movie, or I guess we could talk about what we thought of the movie?
Sure. Well, I'll start since I picked this one. You know, I saw this one ages ago. I didn't really remember it. I've only seen it once, and kind of rewatching it, I can see why I just kind of remembered images from it because again, it does not have a linear plot. I will say, like, you know, some of the imagery I thought was really, really cool. You know, I thought Ganja was beautiful. She was in Switchblade Sisters, which is a great like girl gang 70s exploitation film. So I love her. You know, like we were saying at the beginning of the episode, I think that it was ahead of its time. It was a blaxploitation film that wasn't a blaxploitation film. I think they really wanted to stay away from some of the stereotypes that were present in blaxploitation films. I can appreciate that a lot. And I think that it's one of those movies I'd have to really like approach it with a scholarly kind of manner to fully grasp all the context and undertones and what all of that imagery actually means. So yeah. I get some of the main themes of it, but I'd really have to delve deeper to understand it completely. it's nice seeing our leading man. I wish we would have got to see like a little bit more of him, if that makes sense.
We saw all of him.
Yeah, I was going to say, we've seen a lot of him, homie. So
we did see a lot of him. He
see more of him than I wanted to.
I saw everybody. I was happy of everything I saw.
I didn't mind. Anyway, I plead the fifth. Like I said, he's a very handsome man. We did see all of him, but
yes, we did.
I guess I would have liked to. Yeah, I guess I just would have like to see him in more of a linear plot, I guess. A little bit more of that kind of like linear character development, because I loved seeing that, with Ben in Night of the Living Dead.
I would have liked to have seen him like in close. So
well, go watch Night of the Living Dead, because this movie is not meant for you. I'm kidding.
I think this is like, again, I think it's definitely it's got like importance as a movie, and I think that if I were to really delve into the deeper meaning of it, that would be very interesting. But it's definitely not something that you just watch and it's easy breezy and you're like, I get that. It's not that movie.
Yeah.
And I'd love to hear what people thought. If you've seen it, listeners, like I'd love to hear what you thought, maybe what some of your interpretations are too.
Oh yeah, we'd love to hear some symbolism that you're aware of, for sure, because unfortunately, like I said, we just weren't able to delve all the way into it like we would have preferred.
Yeah, it feels like it's like a piece of outsider art a little bit, for sure. I'm glad that it got preserved and everything, and I'm sure that there are classes, like film classes, that talk about this movie.
Oh yeah, I think that we should have more classes on this movie and these types of movies, because I feel like every person I've talked to that's ever had a film class, it's Alfred Hitchcock, and that's it. It's like the film class for Alfred Hitchcock, and that's all film study is. And I'm like, there's other things out there besides Alfred Hitchcock.
There are things out there.
These film class teachers, oh my God, Vertigo sucks. I'm gonna say it. Okay.
Oh. You heard her, folks.
I think Alfred Hitchcock is highly overrated, especially if you want to talk about like director ethics and how he treated his leading ladies. Yeah. So let's talk more about the art house films.
But his movies are good.
Most of his movies are okay.
Vertigo doesn't suck. Go.
Psycho and The Birds are the only ones worth watching. I said it.
Birds are awesome. Go ahead.
Great movie. Okay.
It's just so good.
What was I saying? You completely ruined my train of thought. Okay, so 60s and 70s movies, like artsy type movies, that's what film classes should be studying more. Anyways, back to horror. Jamie, what would you rate this movie if you had to give it a rating?
Oh gosh, that's so hard. Again, and I don't. My score is probably lower than you guys are used to seeing from me. Because I'm all like, I love everything. That's a 10 for me. And it's no disrespect to the movie at all. It is just something that I'd really need to like, I'd have to think about it more. But I'm gonna give it like maybe like a 5, somewhere in the middle. I think that it has merit, and there's some great actors in it. There's some beautiful imagery, maybe even a 4.5.
Paula, are you okay?
Are
you okay, Paula?
She's Switzerland. She went right down the middle.
Right down the middle. Okay. All right. Right down the middle. It's not a bad movie. No disrespect to the movie. I would actually encourage most people to watch this. I know some people who would personally just not like it because they're like, it's too abstract. It's too artsy. If that's not your kind of movie, like you're just not going to like this one.
This is not the movie for you.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. It is definitely an art house movie. 100%. I like some art house, but like it's something that I used to like a lot more when I was like younger. I'm a little pickier about it now. So gotcha. Yeah, like a 4.5 or a 5, somewhere kind of in there, just down the middle.
Okay.
Nina?
I didn't think the movie was bad. I think that it had a lot of things there that were really, really good, actually. And, the historical aspect of the film and all that, plus Dwayne Jones in a leading role. We love that. I think the story was interesting. I think that the execution, not so good. I know that art house type films were really starting to gain momentum in the 60s and 70s. Unfortunately, I think this one falls a little flat. It could have benefited from a little bit more writing, I think, like fleshing out some ideas and honing in on specific things. You can still have a very artistic film that delves into some heavier subjects, but it's nice to, like, it's helpful if the audience knows what those are. So, and it, like I said, it's not a bad movie, but it could have benefited with some more writing and focusing in on exactly what you're trying to do and trying to tell us with the story, because clearly there's lots of symbolism here. And unfortunately, with my limited experience and knowledge, I don't have the ability to view that perspective fully. So I felt like I was kind of left out in the dark, and I'm not able to fully understand. And maybe that's what they were going for. I don't know. But overall, I would say, like, yes, you should probably watch this movie at least once if you are a horror fan, because it has Dwayne Jones and it is a very historical film. And just as if you're a film fan in general, you should check this out. But is it something that, like, if you never see it, you're going to be like missing a piece of yourself? No. And if you don't like art house type films, I would tell you to just skip it. So
you won't like it.
You will not like it. But if you're really into A24 and like Jordan Peele movies, like, this is your movie. Like, I can clearly see watching this film where Spike Lee, Jordan Peele, like all these African-American directors got inspiration, because it's definitely there. All that being said, this is probably like a 4.5 for me as well. I probably won't revisit it unless I do a lot of research first, and I still don't think I'm really going to get it. So yeah, just because I think that in order to get it, you would have had to live in that world and have that experience. And unfortunately, that's just something that I will never have.
Yeah.
So 4.5 for me.
All right. Okay. This was a first time watch for me as well. I watched it last night, and then when I had woke up, I watched it again because I had fallen asleep. Well, I'm just going to be honest. I do like me some artsy movies. You guys know that. I like artsy movies. This just really did not do it for me. I mean, you guys know this, but there's a lot happening with me personally in my life right now, and I just didn't have the mind frame to sit and be like, okay,
be still.
Be still and say, I'm going to watch this and I'm going to get it. It just wasn't, I don't know if it wasn't the time for me or whatever, but I did watch it. I probably never would have watched it had it not been for the podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll ever watch it again. I didn't think it was all that great. I mean, it wasn't horrible. I've far seen worse movies, but I don't think I would recommend it to anybody.
Yeah.
It is what it is as far as that. I hope people aren't upset with me. If they are, well, scratch your ass and get over it. I don't know what to tell you. Not
everything can be for everybody. So.
No. So,
and it's not for everybody. It's not.
No, not.
I would say 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say 3. It by far wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen, but I wouldn't recommend it. So
yeah, gotcha. Okay.
It's not an easy watch. It really isn't. No. It is like dense, you know. There are like moments where, like, I mean, yeah, it's not an easy watch.
No.
Yeah, for sure.
You have to be you'd have to be in the right mindset for it. You know, this morning when I watched it, I was just like, I was not prepared for this. I was not prepared.
It's very
I will
heavy.
say that Dwayne did a great job.
Oh,
that he did. Oh. I mean, I won't take that away from him at all. I think they all did wonderful.
I think presence and
I think she was especially incredible. Yeah, so good.
She's gorgeous, and I thought she was great.
She was so beautiful, so talented. Yeah, and it's sad that like she mainly only did like blaxploitation films, I believe, right? Yeah,
mostly.
'Tis the time, unfortunately, that but anyways, let's get into our favorite blaxploitation and other Black representation horror films, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Before we start, if you have not watched Horror Noire, the 2019 documentary, which is the history of Black horror and the role of African American people throughout the history of film, go watch it.
It's so good.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah. Very good. Very
amazing.
And
Very
lots of cameos and lots of cameos by all of our favorite people. So
yeah, definitely. Very thorough in there.
I was just going to say that documentary is like such a good just education and like such a good base to like learn about this kind of part of horror. I learned so much from that one. They have great people as guests. Absolutely loved it. Like Shudder does great horror documentaries. Just going to put it out there.
So good. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so I am actually going to talk about I'll talk about my very favorite blaxploitation film. I have a poster in my house for this movie, and that is 1974's Sugar Hill. Have either of you seen this one?
I have not.
I've been wanting to for a while.
Well, I recommend this one. Okay, so basically this story follows Sugar, and she is a badass, okay? She's beautiful, she's got great style, and she is a professional lady, okay? She's a photographer, which is super, super cool. So basically what happens is Sugar's boyfriend is killed by these gangsters, basically, and she turns to voodoo to take revenge and avenge her boyfriend's death. So badass, right? She basically goes to this cool like voodoo woman, and they raise this voodoo lord, and he raises this horde of zombies who are actually her enslaved ancestors from the past. And so these zombies basically do her bidding. So she doesn't even get her hands that dirty because she is like still doing her professional thing while she's getting revenge for her boyfriend. And she's looking fabulous the whole time that she's doing it. It's really campy. It is 70s like exploitation, blaxploitation all the way. But really love the story. The role of the woman in this being the 70s is really great. Again, she's a professional, and I just really like her character. It's sexy. It's a little surreal. It's got this supernatural thing. It's fairly low on gore, but it's still a great, great movie. And I will say there's an artist I really like, MF Doom. He's no longer with us, sadly, but he even sampled some quotes and stuff from this movie on one of his albums, which is pretty cool. The kills feel really rewarding. One of the worst characters in the whole movie is like a really racist white lady, and she gets what's coming to her. So if you haven't seen it, really, really recommend it. Sugar is like super foxy and badass and cool, and it's zombies and supernatural, like amazing.
I love that.
Definitely going to have to watch that.
Oh yeah.
It's on Tubi. Again, it's campy. It's fun. Like the fashion is amazing. Highly recommend.
Yeah, I love that so much. I hope Joe
it's campy.
Bob.
I'm not going to watch that. I hate campy movies.
That's hilarious.
That's a joke, folks.
Yes, that's a joke. I love me some campy movies.
I don't, but I like 70s blaxploitation films, so I'm totally on board. And anytime we can get an empowering woman on there, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, like fashion, yes. Yeah, it's been on my list for a while, so I think this is finally the little kick I need to finally watch it.
It's definitely my favorite blaxploitation film ever, and I think it's just a fun entry from that era of the 70s as well. So, yeah.
Joe Bob, if you're listening, please do Sugar Hill so we can hear more from your trivia vault.
That would be amazing.
Yeah. Okay, one I have to mention is Blackula.
Yes.
The OG.
The OG, yes. That's a great one. Have you guys seen Blackula?
Yes.
I have.
I didn't write down the synopsis. I figure we'd just talk about it, but it's basically what it sounds like. It's Black Dracula.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
It's just a fun time. Yeah. I saw this actually several years ago, so fairly recently, but it was a fun watch. So I actually watched it, I think, after the horror noir or the Black Noir documentary. So yeah, I watched it because of that. So if it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't have seen it.
I seen it a long, long time ago.
In theaters?
No, ma'am, not in theaters.
He's like, give me a minute here.
I got something to say to you. Did Blackula have the strong hand too? I didn't think so.
Only one guy does this.
That's right.
Yeah.
You got the strong hand.
Got the strong hand. Okay. Ethan, what about you?
All right. My first pick is 2019's Ma with Octavia Spencer. If you haven't seen the movie, strongly suggest that you go see it. Very good movie. It's a Blumhouse movie, I believe.
I think so.
Yeah, it's a Blumhouse movie that's actually good.
It's one of the good ones.
Octavia Spencer plays this woman who befriends these teenagers, and these teenagers are looking for a place to party, blah, blah, blah. So she allows them to come to her house and party in the basement. She buys their alcohol. She hangs out with them. The only thing is you can't go upstairs. Well, Ma's a little crazy. I'll just say that Ma's a little crazy, and when the kids start like backing away and saying, "Okay, there's something wrong with this lady," she really becomes batshit crazy. And I'm not going to tell anything else that happens in the movie, but it's really, really good, and you should go see it if you have not.
Okay.
What did you think of it? Now, you haven't seen it, right?
Super fun.
I haven't seen it. It's been on my list, but I was a little confused by the marketing, whether it was actually horror or if they were just trying to get horror people to come in to see it. So no, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. And Jamie, you liked it?
It's a horror movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was so fun. Like,
me too.
Definitely really fun. Mm-hmm.
I'll check it out for sure.
And Octavia Spencer,
I love her.
She's great in everything she does.
Oh, hell yeah. She's amazing.
She's great in everything she does. So
I recently saw her in the remake of The Color Purple, and oh my God. Okay. So good. So good. Anyways.
She's so amazing.
She is. Very talented. Jamie.
Okay. So I also wanted to chat about People Under the Stairs. Wes Craven's zany little movie here.
Yes.
I always thought this movie was such an interesting film. It's a little zany in my opinion. You got mommy and daddy and their sister and brother and all of that good stuff. But we basically follow around Fool, who's an amazing character, just awesome kid. And it deals with some like class kind of situations because they basically, the landlord's mother or mommy and daddy, are planning to evict them and everything. So they hatch this plan to go steal some gold from their house or some coins. Fool's mom is sick. And so that's how he kind of does it, because he's a little badass and he's trying to like save his mom and help his family out. And when they get in there, things are kind of crazy. There's these kids under the stairs. They're like cannibalistic. It's kind of bonkers and wild, but I do really enjoy this movie.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of People Under the Stairs?
I love this movie. I have the poster in my room that Joel Robinson did the artwork for.
Uh-huh.
I think I discovered this actually. People are going to roll their eyes at me. I was a little late to the game on some of these classic horror films, so I didn't discover this one until 2020 during lockdown. But I absolutely fell in love with this movie right away. Like, it's very rare where we have horror films where such young children lead the plot of the movie. And like, Fool is an incredible character. Like, he really is so incredibly talented. So, what's the word I'm looking for? Just very intelligent with all of his character motives and stuff. Like, I just enjoyed this film so much. And the villains of this movie are just masterclass. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, they are scary. Like, yeah. I love them though. Oh my gosh. I love them, but they are scary.
It's really good. Yeah.
And Fool is just so, like, you just love him. Like, first of all, he's really expressive as an actor, so he's fun to watch. And then, again, like, you relate to him. He's a kid, but he's, like, in this really crazy situation, and he's doing it for such a good reason, you know?
Yeah.
So you relate and feel for him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't think I've seen a bad Wes Craven movie ever. Can
I'm
you
trying
think
to
of
think.
one?
I'm like,
I don't think I have. John
No.
Carpenter, yeah, I have. But Wes Craven, no.
and I haven't
Yeah.
seen all of them, but I've seen most of Wes Craven's movies. There's a couple I haven't seen, but
Yeah.
nothing to the top of my head.
There's more like made for TV movies I probably haven't seen of his.
Yeah.
But yeah, John Carpenter, like Prince of Darkness sucks. Okay, I'm sorry, it sucks. There's a few in there that John Carpenter is not so good. Sorry, I said it. But he did make one of the
I'm not a
ultimate
fan of
perfect
that.
horror
Not a big
movies
fan of
ever,
that
which is The
movie.
Thing. So, I mean,
Yes.
yeah. Take that with a grain
movie.
of salt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So, I mean, he made up for it with Halloween and The Thing. So,
Yeah, he's done. He's good.
that is what it is. So,
Yeah,
We forgive some of them.
we forgive. Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. All right. The next one that I have, just going to throw this one out before I talk about the other one. Festival of the Dead. Now, the lead in this is, the lead girl is a Black girl. That's why I picked this movie. Also because I just want to talk about this movie because I thought it was freaking awesome. Her boyfriend, and another couple decide that they're going to go to like this Burning Man fest, this festival, this music festival. And they go to this fest, and it turns out that there's a zombie outbreak while they're there.
Fun.
Yeah, and it's a good combination of like horror and comedy.
Nice.
And this girl does such a freaking stellar job. She's not famous. I mean, hopefully she will be after this, but you know what I mean? She does a great job, and she's cute as a button too.
Oh,
I
yeah?
mean,
What's
yeah,
the name
yeah,
of
she
it?
is. Festival of the Dead.
Okay.
Oh, I'll have to watch that one.
As a matter of fact, I think I mentioned this one on another podcast.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but yeah, no, it's a really good movie.
Interesting.
I enjoyed
Okay. I'll check it out. That sounds
again,
fun.
Same.
Not a cinematic, masterpiece. It's not artsy fartsy. It's a good zombie flick. So
I love a good zombie flick.
Yeah.
I do
Good zombie
too.
flick.
When it's done right, it's done very right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right. My next one, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about Blade.
Ah, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
I love Blade so much. It was one of the first movies I got into, like when I was looking into horror. So I was probably 9 when I first saw this. And I saw it on cable, so it was edited, but like I just fell in love with the characters, the world. If you don't know, if you've never seen Blade, it's a vampire series, basically. It's about a vampire that can walk in the daytime. He's not addicted to, like, he's not drawn to blood or anything like that. He doesn't need that to survive. So it's a very interesting character, and technically it's a superhero movie. So there you go.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like it. It was originally a Marvel film, but yeah. And Wesley Snipes plays Blade, and you've got, Chris Christopherson as his little sidekick, and all people are going to laugh at me. I think all 3 movies are great. I don't give a fuck. I love the third one too. I don't care. And 2 is great as well. But, that first one is just so gritty and just very, early 90s kind of vibes. And I love Blade.
Jamie, what'd you think?
I love the aesthetic of Blade. I love the world that they created. I love the style. I mean, I love like Blade's look. Like he just looks like a 90s like kind of badass. Like love Blade. I just rewatched it like a couple nights ago because it was on TV at my parents' house, and I'm like, oh, it just started. Cool.
Yeah, and come on, those blood sprinklers, they're so iconic.
I know.
Yeah, I love Blade. There's so much dark humor mixed in with it, and I blame Blade for some of my sarcasm that continues to this day.
Yes.
Okay.
Love that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the first time I seen Blade, you guys
In theaters?
like, what? No. It was. I actually could have seen that one in theaters.
I know,
but it was only probably about 1.5 to 2 years ago.
Oh,
what?
okay.
Yeah,
I'm so proud of you. You finally saw it.
yeah. I had never seen it because honestly, I thought it was a Marvel superhero, and I was like, not that I. It's just that
It's not your
Why
thing.
those kind of
it's not my
movies?
thing,
Same.
so I'm not. I'm not going to watch it. And I don't know why I flipped it on, but I started watching it. And I was like, oh, wait a minute.
This is good.
Yeah, no, I like this. And Stacy's like, I've been telling you for years to watch this. And I was like, as a matter of fact, her former best friend, her nickname was Blade because she was psycho.
Oh,
So
there you go.
Did you end up watching 2 and 3?
I watched 2 and I have not watched 3 yet.
3 has
So I
Ryan
have watched
Reynolds
1
in
and 2.
it.
It does.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
That was
no,
my
I
introduction to Ryan Reynolds.
I watched 1 and 2 and I enjoyed both of them. I
Yeah.
really liked them a lot. So.
Yeah, 2 is amazing because it's directed by Guillermo del Toro. So
Oh, 2 is good.
yeah, but 3 is good as well because you have Dracula brought in. Not
Which
the
is
best
always pretty
Dracula, but Dracula.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. My turn?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. I've already asked them. They said they have not seen it yet. But this is the 2025 The Candy Store. It is an indie movie that is on Tubi. And it is set on the south side of Chicago. And basically what it is, and if you know anything about Chicago, and I was just like geeked while I was watching this because I was like, oh my God, I work here. I know these streets. I know this house, basically. I mean,
yeah.
When they go into this woman's house, I'm like, yep, every single solitary house is set up like this on the south side. I knew exactly I thought it was great. Anyway, for 30 years, this woman and her son have been selling, they've had a candy store that they've been running off of their back porch. So you could go and get, little candies and those huggable juices. And she would make nachos and, you would get your walking nachos and,
Sounds like my
it
kind of
was
place.
really good. Turns out, mother is a demon and the son is just this big, goofy, like serial killer dude who dresses like a clown and drives this white van and abducts these kids and abducts these people. Come to find out what they're doing is they are taking the people and they're skinning them, and that's what they're feeding the people for 30 years is the meat. And there is a whole lot of things that you can look in here, and you can. What I would really like to do is I would like to reach out because the director and everybody are from Chicago. I want you guys to watch this, and I want to reach out to them to have them come on here so we can talk about this movie.
Oh, yeah. Say less.
Yeah.
For 30 years, how did this happen? And the cops are going and they're talking, they're like, well, they don't care about, these black kids that are getting killed here. But then you get the other part of it where they go talk to the parents and the parents are like, I don't know. I haven't seen them in 3 months and I really don't give a shit what happened to them. So why would they go have the resources on that if the parents don't even care? Well, finally they have, these two sets of parents that are like,
they finally care.
We care, and there's a cop that cares. So they're like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And I won't tell you how it all ends, but it was a really, really good movie. Great indie horror movie and gory. Right up my alley. Like she's got somebody strung up and she's like using a saw and she's cutting him in half and his guts are coming out. And
Love it.
He's got one girl laying on a table and he just decides I'm hungry. So he just reaches down and like starts eating her insides. And
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's beautifully gory.
I will look into it and see if we can contact them somehow.
Yes, please do.
Sounds awesome.
Yes, I will.
Yeah.
So if you have not seen that on Tubi, go watch it. Let me know what you think of it, please.
Oh, definitely.
Put in the our listeners too. Please put in our hit us on the socials and be like, Ethan, that was a great movie, and you're sick. Or I honestly don't see how you could not like it. But
and Steve, we all know what you're thinking. We know Ethan's obsessed with serial killers, but
right.
I mean, you should know us by now.
But it is what it is. So
I love it so much. Okay.
But yeah, no, it was a very, very, very good movie. So,
Okay. It's
Gotta
on my
check
list
that
now.
out.
yes,
For sure.
yes. And we, of course, have to, I mean, we're going to just throw this out there because this has to be in every Night of the Living Dead and Candyman, the OG.
Yeah.
I mean, Tony Todd, come on. Seriously.
I mean, yeah, we recently did Candyman.
Yeah.
If we hadn't done it earlier in the month, we would have done it for
Oh, God,
yesterday,
yeah.
Oh.
for sure.
Yeah.
It would have been on all of our list. Like,
Definitely.
Who's gonna kick this off? Because it's definitely on all of our lists.
Right.
Yeah.
But if
yeah.
if we don't talk about the original, you know, Night of the Living Dead and Candyman,
Oh.
somebody's gonna bitch.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
I
they're so iconic. Like you
They
can't
Yeah.
yeah,
No.
you can't do any Black history, anything with or
Right.
documentary about representation until you discuss both of those. So it's like,
Yeah.
yes, they are the pillars of this genre, I feel like. So yeah, of course.
Like the end of Night of the Living Dead is so like it hits
Yes.
so hard. It always will. Like it's always going to make such a big like statement and impression. And
Without even trying to.
I was going to say, without even trying, he,
And that's-
Romero has said that he didn't cast with a particular race in mind or anything, and he also did not change the script once he did pick him.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
he didn't. He just thought he was the best person for the job, and he really was.
and
that is
also
exactly
the-
how everybody should get any job
Yes.
because they're the best person for it. And he definitely was the best person for that.
Yes. Also, the fact that didn't it premiere the night that Martin Luther King Jr. died? Or the same week at least? It was at
I
least
think
the
it
same
was-
week.
Yeah, I think it was around that time.
Yeah. They easily could have been like, nope, we're not showing it. Like,
Sure.
because I cannot imagine how much that impacted people at the time after
Yeah.
losing such an iconic member of, the, civil rights movement. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I think that like at the time when it came out, like there were probably a lot of audience members and people in the audience who, that like pushed their comfort zones, given the time and everything. So what an amazing character, what an amazing movie, what a piece of history. His performance will just go down like in history forever.
Definitely.
Oh yeah, definitely. Right. Jamie, do you have another one?
So just some that I thought I would throw out there and mention without getting into them too much, but I love Tales from the Hood. I think it's super fun.
Yes.
I almost rewatched it today to be like, oh, I could talk about that one, but it's actually got, I think that it doesn't always necessarily get its fair due. It actually has some like really fun, like kind of scares in it. And I think everybody should watch that one. It's fun. So
That's
had to
Definitely.
mention Tales from the Hood.
That's producer Jeremy's favorite. So
Yeah.
he would be screaming at us if we didn't mention that.
Oh, yeah.
Got you, Jeremy.
Awesome. I have just a couple more mentions. One is Antebellum. I actually saw this during COVID, I believe. And I really enjoyed it. I know that a couple of people have labeled it as problematic. I don't remember why. But I really enjoyed it because it did something interesting that I hadn't seen in a very long time. And basically the premise of this is that this very strong African-American woman, she basically discovers that she's been kidnapped basically by these ancestors. They're basically these white people that are ancestors of previous slave owners, and they have created this world basically on this former plantation where Civil War battles had happened. And so they create their own little plantation and like all this stuff, and they are kidnapping Black people and basically making them slaves again and brainwashing them into believing that they are actually slaves in the 1800s. And it is very interesting because when you're first watching it, you think that it's taking place in the 1800s until you realize that no, this is actually happening right now. And so how she gets out of it is very fun, very interesting, very twisty, and there's lots of humor mixed in with this to make it less heavy. And it's produced by Jordan Peele, so not directed, just produced. So, but I think it's a lot of fun. And a couple of movies I hadn't seen yet, but I wanted to mention because I definitely plan on watching them. They have really high ratings on Rotten Tomatoes. One of them is called Black Box.
Who's there?
You need breakfast.
I'm fine.
I wasn't asking.
Nolan Wright, involved in a car accident, resulting in the death of his wife
Is there anyone else who can pick you up?
He's just running a little late today.
and severe memory loss.
If this happens again, we're gonna have to notify child services.
I believe that I can reverse your condition.
We should give it a shot, right?
Come with me, please. We call this headset the Black Box, an immersive virtual pathway to your memories. I like to begin with something I call the safe room. When you push the crown of the watch, you will be in your subconscious. Are you ready?
Rachel. What the hell was in there?
It's your brain trying to protect you from your trauma.
Did things go well with Dr. Brooks today?
I saw my wedding.
That's progress right there.
If that thing shows up again, you just say to yourself, I run my mind, it does not run me.
I run my mind, it doesn't run me. I run my mind. It doesn't run me.
Patients are often surprised by what they remember.
Did Rachel and I live in an apartment?
I don't think so.
The place was really familiar.
You're getting close. Stay with this.
Did we ever fight?
It's not what you think. You would never hurt Rachel.
What's going on?
We're close. I can sense it.
You just need to remember who you are.
I run my mind. It doesn't run me.
And another one is called His House. That came out in 2020, and I really want to see this one. It's about a refugee couple that makes an escape from South Sudan, and they're basically struggling to adjust to their new life in an English town. And the house that they're living in was assigned by the government there, and they basically have to survive this evil that's lurking within the house. And basically, the trailer kind of hinted that the government might be forcing them to live in this place to see if they can survive in order to determine if they can stay in the country. So I think that is really interesting. And it looked very fun, very supernatural. And you guys know I love a spooky haunted house story. So yeah, those are mine.
That one looked cool. I've seen like a trailer for that one actually, so I want to see that one too.
Yeah, I was looking it up and I was like, really? It's from 2020? Why is nobody talking about this movie? And it literally has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. So, yeah. So I'm going to check it out.
I don't have any more other than to tell Montavis Parker, let's get Mirror Mirror out so next year we can review that movie.
Yes. Tell us when that's coming out. Tell us if you
when it's
have any
coming out.
others. Yes. Because we definitely want to review that. We have been
Definitely.
waiting for that for a while. Yeah. Get on it, sir.
No, I think that's it. I mean, I will say there are other great ones out there too, you know, that we didn't mention. If there's one that we didn't mention that you really love, like definitely drop it in the comments so we can check it out.
Definitely.
Yes. And let us know what your favorites are.
Yeah, for sure. I know there's lots of blaxploitation. We couldn't cover everything tonight. We just barely scratched the surface.
Oh,
but
yeah.
there's so much out there. Yeah. So, let us know what you guys thought of our picks. Share with us what you thought of some of our picks as well. There's some newer movies on here that I was really excited to learn about. So, yeah, can't wait to watch those in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, just remember, guys, if you ever find yourself in a horror movie, don't have sex.
Don't do drugs.
And certainly don't die. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.